A mother picks up the phone. Her daughter is on the other end, crying, begging to talk. The mother hangs up, not because she wants to, because a paragraph in a book told her she had to. That book was printed by the Watchtower organization. It was studied in her congregation. It was handed to her by an elder who said, "This is what God requires." Now, that same organization has sent a private order to elders worldwide. Find that book and destroy it. Not because the teaching was wrong all along, but because they finally changed the rule, and the printed evidence of what they did to families like hers has become a liability they cannot afford to keep on the shelf. Today, we are opening the order, and I am going to show you exactly which books are on the hit list, and what is written inside them that the governing body wants shredded before anyone else can read it. Part 1. The letter. No one was supposed to see. The directive did not come from a platform. It was not announced at a meeting. It arrived quietly, an internal communication from branch headquarters to local bodies of elders. The kind of letter that stays in the elder's briefcase and never reaches the congregation. On the surface, it reads like inventory management. Review the literature stock. Check the shelves, the counters, the back storage. Remove specific titles. Some are to be recycled. Others, destroyed. Shredded. Now, old convention badges? Sure. Expired invitations? Fine. Nobody cares about last year's lanyard, but that is not all the letter targets. Mixed into the list of expired pamphlets are titles that every Jehovah's Witness alive will recognize. Books studied line by line in weekly meetings. Books carried door to door for decades. Books that told millions of people what God thinks, what God demands, and what God will do to you if you disobey. These books are not being replaced with updated editions. They are being erased. And the reason they are being erased has nothing to do with storage space, and everything to do with a single policy reversal that turned 40 years of printed doctrine into a ticking legal time bomb. We will get to that reversal, but first, you need to understand how, in this organization, truth is designed to self-destruct. Part 2. How truth self-destructs. Jehovah's Witnesses call it new light. The idea is simple. God gradually reveals deeper understanding to the governing body. When new light arrives, old light fades. Growth is normal. Evolution is healthy. But this is not evolution. This is an overwrite. When a doctrine changes, the old version does not get footnoted. It does not get archived. It does not get debated. It gets deleted. And every publication that still carries the old version becomes a problem. Because anyone who opens it can see, with their own eyes, that what was once called divine truth has been quietly reversed by the same men who claimed God gave it to them. The books do not just become outdated, they become evidence. And in this system, evidence is handled the way a corporation handles an incriminating memo. It gets destroyed. Part 3. The hit list, now. Let us look at what is actually being pulled from Kingdom Hall shelves around the world. The first items are predictable. Sing to Jehovah, the old songbook, replaced years ago. Convention badges, expired invitations, previous editions of Organized to Do Jehovah's Will, the organizational manual, administrative clutter. If this were the full list, we would not be here. But it is not the full list. Next comes The Greatest Man Who Ever Lived, a book about the life of Jesus, used in congregation study for years. Pulled. Then, the Bible. What is its message? A brochure designed to summarize the scriptures for the general public. Also pulled. Then, Would you like to know the truth? A small tract handed out at doorsteps to millions of people. Gone. Now it gets heavier. What does the Bible really teach? Bright yellow cover. If you have ever answered your door to 2 Jehovah's Witnesses between the mid-2000s and the late 2010s, you have seen this book. It was the organization's flagship Bible study tool for over a decade. Millions of copies printed, millions of studies conducted at kitchen tables worldwide. It shaped what an entire generation of converts believed about God, about death, about holidays, about blood transfusions, and about how to treat people who leave the faith. That last part is one of the reasons it is now marked for disposal. If you have this book at home right now, tell me in the comments. We need to know how many of these are still out there. Next, Revelation, its grand climax at hand. Thick red cover, dedicated entirely to the book of Revelation. Congregations studied it chapter by chapter. Some went through it twice. It was packed with bold prophetic timelines, symbolic interpretations, predictions tied to specific historical events. Most of those predictions failed. Several have been quietly abandoned. That book is now flagged for destruction. But this next one, This is the title that proves the legal panic behind this entire order. Keep yourselves in God's love. Open it to pages 207 and 208. That is where you will find, paragraph by paragraph, the most detailed written instructions on how to practice shunning. Not suggestions, not guidelines, instructions. It told members exactly what to do when they encountered someone who had been expelled from the congregation. No meals, no socializing, no greeting, not even a hello. This book was the written authority elders pointed to when a parent asked if they could call their disfellowshipped child. This book was the reason families obeyed. And this book is now being shredded. Keep that in mind, because what I am about to tell you next explains why. Part 4. The Smoking Gun. For over 40 years, the shunning policy was absolute. If a person was disfellowshipped, every active witness was expected to sever all contact. Total, complete, no exceptions. This was not cultural, it was codified. In 1981, the organization's primary journal, the Watchtower, September 15th issue, page 25, published it in black and white. A loyal witness should not extend even a simple greeting to a disfellowshipped person. That instruction was then repeated across dozens of publications for the next 4 decades, including the books now being pulled from shelves. Parents stopped calling their children because of these paragraphs. Children walked past their own mothers in the supermarket because of these paragraphs. Entire families fractured, not because of personal choice, but because a printed page said God demanded it. Then came 2024. In March, governing body member Mark Sanderson appeared in an official update and announced an adjustment. The word disfellowshipped would no longer be used. Members could now offer a brief greeting to a removed person at the Kingdom Hall. The absolute prohibition was softened. New light. And the moment that announcement was made, a clock started ticking on every Kingdom Hall shelf in the world. Because you cannot hand a new Bible student a copy of What Does the Bible Really Teach and tell them to study it, while page after page inside contradicts what the elders are now teaching from the platform. You cannot give someone, keep yourselves in God's love, and expect them not to notice that pages 207 and 208 say the exact opposite of what was just announced in March. The student does not need to be an apostate to see the problem. They just need to read. But the danger goes beyond a confused Bible student. The shunning policy has been challenged in courts, scrutinized by governments in Norway, Belgium, and across Europe, cited in custody disputes, flagged by mental health professionals as psychologically coercive. And the central exhibit in nearly every legal case is the same thing: the organization's own printed instructions. They are shredding the very pages that forced a mother to hang up the phone on her grieving daughter. Now that the rule has changed, the evidence of that cruelty has to go. Not because it is outdated, because it is incriminating. Destroying the books does not erase the internet. It does not undo the scanned copies in archives around the world. But it removes the physical, institutional evidence from the one space the organization still fully controls: the Kingdom Hall. Part 5. The Pattern. This is not new. Publications from the early 20th century that predicted the end of the world in 1914, in 1925, in 1975, nearly impossible to find in original print today. The organization's own digital library has been shown to omit or alter older content without notation. Scans sometimes differ from originals, but previous purges were slow, a quiet fade over decades. This one is different. This one is coordinated, global, tied directly to a specific, traceable policy reversal. The change happened in March 2024. The disposal order followed. The connection is not speculation. It is sequence, and it tells us what the governing body will never say out loud: that what was printed in those books, taught as divine truth for 40 years, enforced under threat of expulsion, and used to shatter families across generations, was a human rule, made by men, and now being incinerated because those same men changed their minds. No apology has been issued, no acknowledgement that the policy caused harm. No letter was sent to the mother who hung up the phone. No compensation was offered to the families that lost decades together because of a paragraph in a book that is now being fed into a shredder. Instead, a checklist, an inventory update, a quiet directive asking elders to do what this organization has always asked its members to do: follow the instruction without asking why. The pages may disappear from the Kingdom Halls, but they will not disappear from the memories of the people who lived under them, the families torn apart by them, or the courts still examining them. Paper can be shredded. History cannot.